Welcome back, everybody, to the Varsity Squad Show. I'm your host, Sheldon.
And I'm Landon.
Guys, we have a special guest today joining us for our Cap or No Cap, Nolan from Heath, Ohio. Nolan, what's up? Thanks for being here.
What's going on, Sheldon? How are you, man?
Not too much, man. It's cold here. 40 degrees this morning. I know Ohio's a lot colder. What's it like there? Like 30, 20?
It's 30-something here this morning. Not too cold, but pretty chilly still, you know.
Gotcha. So, guys, right before we get into our Cap or No Cap, I want to take a look at a clip from the Suns and Pelicans game the other night. A play that had many people shaking their heads and other people's tapping their heads. Let's take a look.
It's over. Pels.
No.
Get it done. And on the spin and the reverse.
Man,
The
you see
slam
that
by Zion.
Nolan, you saw, right?
That was incredible, man.
So, guys, what are our opinions on that? So, in the NFL, you're supposed to take a knee if you're winning the game, and there's let's just say there's 30 seconds left, right? In the NBA, you're supposed to dribble the clock out if you're up by a certain margin of points. Mm-hmm. Now, let's just say cap or no cap on this. A 360 windmill dunk when you're clearly winning is an unsportsmanlike act for Zion Williams to do. Cap or no cap? What do you think? Landon, let's start with you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. I think cap because I think it's dope. I think it's cool because you pretty much got the whole court to yourself or anything to yourself, right?
Right.
And why not show off a little bit?
Even with there was 10 seconds left in the game,
Who
they were up by
cares?
9 points.
I think it's cool. I mean,
Okay.
as a fan, I'm like, that's dope. And as the team, I'm not really caring what the other team's thinking. I'm just
Even as a Suns fan.
cares.
Didn't rub you the wrong way?
Making my fans feel good.
Okay, so you're saying cap. Nolan, what do you think?
Man, honestly, I think I'm on board with Landon. I think it is cap too. I mean, just to see especially Zion, reason behind it after they were tied 2-2 there in the series, in the playoffs, and he was out the whole season with that foot injury. Just to see his teammates what that did to them when they got beat by the Suns like that. It was kind of his way, still being able to show out for his team. I mean, so personally, I think I don't see an issue with it. And for QB kneels and stuff, I know every week when Joe Burrow, for me on my fantasy team, he gets those QB kneels. It's negative fantasy points, and that just rubs me the wrong way.
I know.
So I mean, my thinking is let them play. It's their job, and they're here to give us fun content. Make it enjoyable for us. And I know that when the Bengals are on top like they typically are, with a couple minutes left in the game, it's I might as well just change it to something else because I know they're just gonna run the ball out and take a couple of knees, and I don't expect much more.
To Jamar anymore, right?
Yeah, they're not airing it out,
Guys, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. I'm cap all the way. And this is I'm a big Broncos fan, as you guys know, of course. Yep. Last year we played the Ravens, okay, and the Ravens were on a streak of so many 100-yard games rushing in a row, where there was 10 seconds left and they were at 96 yards. They should have taken a knee, and what they do? They ran the ball to Lamar. They picked up the record, and the Broncos coach after the game was showing his disgust at what they did, and they said it wasn't sportsmanlike. But the way I saw it was, and I'm a Broncos fan, the way I saw it was, hey, they're trying to get the record. It's 4 yards. They didn't take a knee, but they're playing to the last whistle, and that's what Zion did. Like you said, Nolan, the Pelicans got knocked out last year with Zion. First of all, he was hurt last year against the Suns, so he couldn't even help his team out in that playoff series. But they went up 2-0 and then lost the next 4 games. This was some revenge. This was some, hey, we're here right now. We can compete with you guys again. We'll see you guys. We'll see you in the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. And again, Zion being able to play. I think that dunk sent a message. And then so I think we're all unanimously capping this. I do want to mention after the game there was some fighting and there was some arguments. I mean, you're gonna have that though, right? You're gonna have that,
right?
Players like CP3 and Devin Booker, they took offense to it. But guess what? Zion Williamson wasn't there. He went to the locker room. He's like, I'm not dealing with it. I don't need to argue with you guys. I did what I did. Sorry that you guys are salty, basically. That's basically what he said in the interview. He said, maybe I got a little carried away. That's what he said in the interview. But hey, I was all for it. And I'm a Suns fan, too. I love the Suns. I love what they're doing this season. But they got smoked that game in a way. And the dunk just put the cherry on top for them. So
he was just playing with that chip on his shoulder after what they did last year.
Exactly.
Team, so
I mean, like Zion's a fantastic young player we really haven't seen a huge sample size because he's been hurt so much. So it's like he's got a breakaway dunk. If you don't want to get dunked on, play defense to the last whistle. That's my opinion on it. So maybe last question before we move on to our next cap or no cap. Do you guys think we're moving away from that kind of unwritten rule of just dribble the ball out? Because you still see it a lot, but with a dunk like that, do you think that's going to shift maybe the future of the NBA or maybe the NFL with knee in the ball?
Go ahead, I'll go first. I got you. I feel like it is going to shift it a little bit, and more teams or players are going to start doing that. Just because after seeing that, they're gonna. I mean, of course, they're gonna feel they're not gonna feel guilty because even though they see like the arguments and the fighting after the game, I feel like most players are going to see it as that was dope or that's cool, Yeah. And it's more so showing like your talents and your athletic ability overall. So I really do think that it's going to shift into.
Sure. And it's going to encourage teams to play defense to the very end. Maybe put your backups in when they put their backups in so the backups can get some playing time. Sometimes you see, backup quarterbacks trot out on the field with 30 seconds left, just need the ball. If I'm a backup quarterback, let me throw a deep pass. Let me do something and prove to you that I deserve to be on this team in the NFL, in the NBA, whatever it may be. But guys, we're going to move on to our next cap or no cap. Now, Caleb Williams was the Heisman Trophy winner this year, and I don't know if you guys seen it, but every game he paints on his fingernails, usually the F word, and on his other hand, whatever team he's playing. So he did it against Utah in basically the last game of the season, and they lost. And, I mean, how ironic is that, But he won the Heisman unanimously. He smoked pretty much the competition for the Heisman. Our cap or no cap is, did Caleb Williams deserve it? Or he did deserve it, or didn't deserve it? Cap or no cap? Nolan, we're going to start with you this time.
All right, so like you said here, I'm here from Ohio, so I got the CJ Stroud bias.
Sure.
And to me, it's like you hate to see CJ Stroud having back-to-back years of being a Heisman finalist and not bringing home the trophy either year.
He is a senior, correct?
Right. I think he is.
Yeah, that stinks he couldn't get it.
Right. I mean, back-to-back years of watching, just heartbreaking defeat as somebody else takes the Heisman when you're right there.
Right.
And I mean, looking back at their stats, watching him throw just as many touchdowns, them two led the four candidates for passing TDs. And so, it was heartbreaking to see that. But then to see that, when the final points came in, I mean, Caleb Williams had 700 more points than Max Duggan, who had 900 more points than CJ Stroud. So, I mean, there was really no competition.
Right.
And I didn't watch a ton of USC's games this year. I followed them a little bit. And, I mean, the one thing, when looking up, the Heisman and USC, USC is basically Heisman University. They're tied for first with 7 Heisman Trophy winners out of, all the other schools. So I thought that was really interesting. And the last quarterback to win the Heisman from USC was in 2004. So, I mean, it was well-deserved. You never really hear of UC. And so, I'm all for it. I don't think it's cap that he should not,
Okay.
I think he should have been the Heisman winner. I mean, to not be able to win the big Utah game, which would have put him in the college football playoffs, that was huge. But,
right.
Looking at the whole season, looking at the season as a whole, I'm all, I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Landon, what's your opinion on this?
Well, yeah, I think he was well deserving of this.
Okay.
And overall, you see the votes, and you see that it wasn't even close from him to the other candidates, and you could just tell to all the fans and all them too, and the people that voted, and everyone that voted for him, he was well deserving of this, and he had an amazing season. But I mean, even with the whole fingernail thing and all that, I think that's just his ego. I think that's just how he rolls into each game. That's just what he does.
Okay.
But overall, I think he was well deserving of this.
So you're saying, so you guys are both no cap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to agree. I think it's no cap as well. But I do think he's not a senior, so he's going to play next year. But I think he should change the fingernail thing. I think losing to Utah in a game like that where you do that with your fingernails, the way I just think it's classless. You know, I think it shows that he has no sportsmanship. My opinion is like, what's your problem with all these different colleges? Like, why do you need to say that? Maybe you want to beat. Of course, you want to beat them. It's a competitive game. But what did they do to you? You know what I mean? Why do you gotta go out of your way and paint your fingernails before a game and then lose to Utah, which kicks you out of the Final Four? I mean, at his Heisman Trophy, his ceremony, he said, he's looking at the other 4 quarterbacks who didn't make it and said, "Well, you guys are still in the Final Four. I'm not. That's the only thing that I have that you guys have that I don't have, is I'm not in that Final Four teams." But we're all saying no cap unanimously. Obviously, he was the favorite by far, like you said. Nolan led the crew. In 37 touchdown passes, 4 picks, which is really, really good ratio. Over 4,000 yards. And USC was a great team this year. But again, losing that game to Utah, sent them out of the Final Four. Did they finish 5 or 6? Do you know, Nolan?
I really have no clue.
I know they were just outside because Ohio State just made it in, and I didn't think Ohio State was going to make it, losing Michigan for the second year in a row. I won't talk too much about that, but that hurts them. But I'm gonna.
I don't want to talk about that.
I know you don't. Landon doesn't either. But I'm gonna agree with you guys. Caleb Williams more than deserving of the Heisman. But I do want to say next year, I hope he does change his ways. Like you said, his ego. You can show your ego in many ways. You can be a class act and have a high ego in terms of confidence in yourself. But you don't got to paint your fingernails that. You don't got to do that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's a competitive game. But I don't know. We're all playing together. It's all fun. So for you to say that, I don't know. But guys, that's gonna wrap up our cap or no caps today. Nolan, again, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy that cold weather. It's gonna be snowing just a few weeks probably. So enjoy
hopefully
that.
A white Christmas.
White Christmas, hopefully. All right, man. I'll see you next time. Appreciate you being here, bro.
Hey guys, see you. Thank you very much.